what is the worst, I guess, experience that you've had with a man ever?
But that really veers into the bedroom side of things.
Oh, so you don't want to
I will tell you that off camera.
So we could talk about like hemorrhoids. On our first episode, we can talk about this.
Okay.
Double standards.
Ciao, Baltic babes!
This is Baltic Banter.
With Gokul.
And Brigitte.
And today we're gonna talk about men.
Ew.
That sounds like there's a lot of trauma associated with men right there.
Drama and drama. Drama and drama.
I mean, trauma and drama is sort of like our middle name.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Especially when it comes to dating men.
Even.
I mean, both of us have had probably like a million different stories about men.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they're from different perspective because I am straight AF and you're gay AF.
Why are you gay?
Guilty.
So,
Oh my god, talking about that, I just want to tell you, like, I put up an NGL, like, not gonna lie story on my Instagram.
yeah.
And there were so many questions, like, are you gay? Do you have a p or a p? They send me a picture. Prove
Picture?
it. Yeah. They're like, prove it. I'm like,
Why would somebody care?
I mean, like,
They just want to get your nudes and then sell it somewhere.
I don't think I'm that famous yet.
You are. I think you are, Gokul. I think you're white. Like, I literally sent you a TikTok this morning. I sent him a TikTok, and he was like, included in a TikTok together was Aminata and Roberto. Like, what was it about?
It
Like,
is foreigners who are famous in Latvia or something like that.
yeah, I guess.
Something
With different backgrounds.
with different backgrounds, yeah.
So, I think you're very famous, actually.
I'll take that.
Do we know any other Latvian Indian influencer? Yes, downstairs.
Janis Burzin.
I like her.
Why don't you like Janis Burzin?
I don't know. He lacks some charisma, I think.
Well, he speaks fluent Latvian, so I don't understand.
No,
what
I
he's saying.
think that's like sick. That's actually, I respect.
It sounds so good,
It sounds very good.
but I don't understand it.
He's very fast and he goes very fast. Like his language, as if he was born here. I don't actually know his story. How did he end up here? Maybe he's, I don't know.
That's enough about him. This is our show.
Anyway, he's a man. Also.
That's the relevance to the episode.
And he was in a reality TV show, by the way,
Okay.
about like dating.
Okay. And how did he do?
It was like he didn't do well because he lacks charisma.
Talking about dating, what's the worst date you've ever been on?
I have so many stories. What do you mean?
Give me the juiciest one.
The juiciest one. No, they're all stupid because it's with men. They're stupid.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I think the juiciest ones were that, you know, at the end of the date, they were trying to kiss me, and I was like, you know, this is our first date, and they're like, oh yeah, you're like, you know, you're like so pretty, and I thought you were really into this, and I was like, I'm not gonna kiss you on a first date. I have higher standards, and I never kiss on the first date. I never do anything like we just hug and that's it. And there are not a lot of men that respect that, actually.
Damn.
I have so many experiences with men that think that I'm this sort of a woman that's like, because I am, you know, very sexual. And I'm very open. And they're like, they think that
You're easy.
I'm easy.
Man.
I hate that word.
Yeah, I guess it's just this sort of misconception that you have just because somebody, you know, wears some kind of clothes. Being open or being sexual or actively have those conversations, they just assume that they're willing to like, do
Yeah.
it immediately.
Yeah.
But no, everybody needs to have that connection, or you need to have that work put in. Obviously, there are times when your standards are on 50% sale, and
What do you mean by that?
don't you have those moments where you're like, you know
When
what,
you're like horny and drunk.
yes. When you're horny and drunk, when you're just going through something,
Of
you're
course.
like, today my standards are on 50% sale. It's
Yeah.
free for all. Those
No, not
moments.
free for all.
Okay. Well, sometimes you're like,
Okay.
you know what? We'll do something
Don't
here.
put words in my mouth.
I'm
okay?
putting words in my own mouth. I am talking about myself here.
So I had a date with this guy. I thought like he was very cool and he had muscles and everything. He seemed like very put together. So I went on a date with him and we went on a very nice restaurant actually. And we had a very nice chat. At the end of the night, he said like, so what are your thoughts about marriage? And I was like, I'd like to be married someday. And he said like, if we're dating, then I would like to marry you within 3 months. It's like, I basically had a proposal on the first date.
3 months is not enough
And
time to get to know
like,
someone.
I said to him like, why so fast? Like, what's the rush? And he said like, because I'm very Christian. And I didn't get it. Like the whole date was like, we're talking about, sexual stuff. We're talking about like, just like normal things, like you and me, like talk about like some open things.
Yeah.
But like, and then he turns the script and he's like, yeah, I'm actually from this place that's actually here. It's Bucharest.
Okay, I don't know anything about that.
It's a cult.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Christian. It's Christian cult.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's like, yeah, so I would need to marry you within 3 months, and we're gonna have like 4 or 5 children. It's like, we didn't talk about kids. Like, I don't know if I ever have
And
kids.
so first date.
Yeah, this is my first date with him. And we had a nice chat the whole time. It was like for hours. And then like at the end of we had like some dessert. He's like, yeah, by the way, I'm Christian and I would like need to marry you within 3 months.
Is he the kind that it was like, oh, we're not gonna hook up before marriage, or
I don't know.
you just
I
decide?
didn't feel it.
It's okay.
I didn't actually feel it. I actually felt like he wouldn't like to have sex right now. I had some nasty first dates, but this was the most, shocking, I guess, because I had like totally different impression of him before and during the date. And he was so open, and you couldn't even tell. Like, it was not in his info, it was not in his profiles. Maybe I didn't stalk enough, because afterwards, like, I still have him on my Facebook, and sometimes he posts something about like the church stuff or something. I was like so blown away, and afterwards I was just like thinking about it, like, am I weird? Didn't I get it? Like at the first minute, he was like so charming.
Do you think you tend to attract weirdos?
Yes, for sure.
Why?
Because I'm pretty. I think people are interested in character because I have so many different sides of me that you can make up your own version of me. So each time when I was single, when I was dating, I noticed that a lot of men made up this sort of image that they wanted me to be fit in, So when I met a guy who would be like, oh, you're so sexy, or you're this academic opera singer, or, I have so many different sides.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, they made up different versions of me. And when I didn't fit the version that they wanted me to be, they were like, oh, you're a fake. I had so many, like, after the first dates or, during the dates, they were like, you're actually like not what I thought you were.
I think there's this problem because as humans, we have this tendency that when you start to get to know somebody and you see certain parts of them,
You idolize them.
you idealize them, and then you create this sort of image in your head of all these empty spots that you don't know about them. You fill in with your ideal version of them.
Yeah, true.
And then when you get to know them, this ideal version of them starts falling apart and you're not able to put it back together. If you are, great, that's awesome. But if you're not able to, then you're constantly idealizing every person you date and you always find a problem with the person
Yeah.
because you never get to actually know them.
I met this other guy when I was single for like 3 or 4 times, and then on our 4th date, he just tells me that I didn't know you were a feminist.
Well, hold on on that. Hold on. Now, hold on.
Did that change things? You know? And he's like, yeah, I fucking hate feminists. I was like, bye then. Like,
What was his problem?
I don't know. He said like he had like this idea that he's an alpha man or something.
Oh,
Yeah. Those sort of guys. And he's asked me like, then color your hair blue or whatever. And I was like, why do I color my hair blue? Like,
I mean, you would if
I
you wanted to.
maybe someday. Who knows?
I mean, if it's allowed in the opera house, because I don't know if there's anything against that.
No, first of all, I wouldn't ever, but I don't know.
Hey, never say never.
Never say never. But it like he had this idea about feminists, you know, and I was like, yeah, feminists are different kinds of. Even men are feminists, you know. That's the thing. But he had this narrow idea
Words.
of what it's like, and also he said like to me, how dare you present this feminine image of yourself and this academic and you know whatever, because opera, you know,
Are feminists not allowed to be feminine, or what is going on?
I don't know, I think he was like more conservative and he thought like maybe I'm a opera singer and it's from the past time is I'm like this past
Trying to find the word.
I can't find words actually. This man had another idea about me because I'm this feminine, beautiful girl. That he thought that all feminists are with blue hairs and like 40 years old or something, you know. And so I have so many experiences with men having different ideas about me. So like at the end of my dating experience, actually just before I met my boyfriend, it's like I'm done with dating. I'm not gonna go on dates. Have somebody
Advises you.
Yes. Actually, yeah. So what's your own worst date? Sorry, I was like,
You went on a
yapping.
tangent there. My worst date, the thing is, I was in a very long-term relationship for a big chunk of my adult life. And
Sorry, he traumatized you a lot.
not really, it was actually very good. I would never say it was bad or anything. The reason we broke up is because our priorities just shifted and we just weren't.
That's the worst kind of.
Yeah, like we just weren't in love with each other. That was it. So we have no ill will towards each other. We don't hate each other. Everything's cool. So sometimes it fizzles out. And if you're mature enough, you can survive.
Yeah, but I think it's the worst kind of heartbreak when you feel like you've grown apart, you know.
You envision a future with someone, right? That you've kind of seen how it would look, and then it kind of all falls apart, and it's nobody's fault. That's the best part. Like,
That's not the best part. That's the most heartbreaking part. I think so.
it is what it is. I mean, I've gone on a few first dates after that. I've been on a few second dates as well. Hopefully, I think now I haven't had any horrible experiences.
Yeah.
But I was young and stupid. At 18, I moved to Latvia.
I thought it's now.
Moving on. At 18, when I moved to Latvia, I was pretty stupid. And I would definitely say I was stupid. I was really obsessed with this person, and they were working at a kid's shop in the mall, and I would go there during their shift and just walk around just so I could get time to go with me. Again, stupid. And I would wait for their shift to end so I can leave with them. Hey, it was consensual. Like they knew I was there, and I asked.
You were basically stalking them.
But
That's creepy.
I will not deny or agree to any of the claims you are putting forward.
Guilty.
And then I kind of waited for the shift to end. Then we went out together, and we were just walking and talking in the park. It was a little rainy, it was cold, and I accidentally hit his leg with my leg, and he flipped out. Like flipped out, and
You hit how was this?
we were walking together, and my leg like accidentally like touched the leg,
It just touched.
but like gently, like you know.
And what happened?
He slipped out, and he got really mad for some reason, and
Was he laughing? Sorry.
yeah, and I was like, I didn't know what I did wrong, and then he started being rude, and then he went away, and I was so like heartbroken, and I felt like I was in one of those horrible movies where like you're the main character and everything has gone wrong, and I just sat there in the rain in the cold for like an hour, just like sad and miserable, and then I went.
Did you listen to sad songs?
In my head, yes. And then
You didn't have headphones?
again, this is back when I didn't even realize Spotify was a thing. I was young and stupid, okay? I was very young and stupid. So yeah, I think that was the worst sort of like experience I've had.
And where did you meet the guy? Like on a dating app? Or
On
no,
a
you
dating
didn't even know.
No, I was on a dating app.
So you were on a dating app before Spotify.
Yes. Before I ever had Spotify, I was on a dating app. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's messed up. How was the experience with the dating apps? You know,
Oh my god, let's not even talk about the gay or like queer dating app experience. Grindr, Tinder, everything. It's so messy.
Yeah, no, I was on Tinder once, and I was on this other
Bumble?
Bumble. Yes, I like Bumble better.
Mm-hmm.
I had one date with the guy from Bumble.
Wait, how do you meet your current boyfriend then?
Through friends.
Okay, that's the best thing.
Yeah, but we actually matched on Tinder that week. But we were already supposed to meet, like.
Okay,
But then
that's cute actually.
But I think he stalked me also. Yeah.
What makes you think so?
Because we already talked about in a demo episode that I have this controversial Twitter account. So his friend, my boyfriend's friend, had followed me and I guess sent him my profile.
Really?
And then like, he was like, oh, this girl is hot or something. I'm gonna fix her issue.
What is with men and they need to fix problems?
I think men have this, I don't know, you're also a man, so.
I mean, hey, I totally agree with you. I have that problem as well. I think even in my previous relationship or with things, I have a tendency to always fix things or always try to find a solution.
But also look at the popular movies and the main characters that are men. They're usually like this hero and they save the world, and the women usually ask,
Oh, what are we going to do?
and then the man is like,
I'm gonna save the world.
or something. That's
Welcome to Barishta's One Woman Show. We will be premiering her doing 5 different voices and characters.
I'm an actress. Yeah, I think men have this sort of idea that they have to be heroes, and that's why they feel like they have to save women. I don't know if
But then imagine 2 gay men though. What's the dynamic like?
you see that's the problem.
Oh, are you saying you're homophobic?
Of course.
Are you homosexual?
So, what do you think are the signs of a healthy relationship?
I don't think there are signs. You just feel safe,
Really?
and you feel like you can, like, it's your best friend. you're besties and you could talk about literally anything. And when you don't want to hide things, I think, because I've been in so many unhealthy relationships before that I know that I kept some secrets, and I had like this thought, but I can't talk about it with him. He wouldn't get it, you know. But now I'm in a very healthy relationship, and now I feel like I want to talk to him all the time, but I can't wait till I get home so he hears this drama, or you know.
Yeah.
It's like we're besties. So
Yeah, I think communication is definitely one of the biggest things.
you feel like you can never be judged by them. They never judge you. They could say like, oh, my opinion is different. They could say their opinion, and I also value his opinion a lot. Like I ask him a lot of questions, and you know what? This man, he's so smart and he's so gentle. And he would never judge me, but sometimes he's like, I couldn't say like father figure because that's messed up, but like
I don't want to say daddy issues, but I'm gonna say daddy issues.
no,
Daddy, chill.
he is older than me. 5 years.
Hey, that's not much.
Yeah, but like he's been through different stages of life that I'm going through right now, so he can say like, this is going to pass, or I felt the same way. But also like it's very comforting when you hear like, yes, actually I was going through the same thing when I was your age. Even though it sounds weird now, but when I say it out loud, like when I was your age.
Oh my god, that weirdly sends me into a tangent about how your parents always talk about how freaking hard life was for them. And they always go on about when I was your age.
Yeah.
And then just go on to tell you the
I had to
traumatizing story.
I had to go to school that was like 20 kilometers away through the rain and snow.
Okay, so that is not an Indian experience. I see.
Oh.
Everybody seems to have this. Because same thing in India or any other country, I feel like. So all of our parents have been through hell and back to go to school. What is this?
What is this side story?
What is this universal experience that bridges cultures?
You know, my boyfriend, he's actually millennial, and I am Gen Z millennial. You know, I'm actually Gen Z when you look at
But I think they have this new thing called a zillennial.
yeah.
I think that, for me
So-
as well, I think it's what I
So
like.
yeah. So I have many common things with him, but also I look at him sometimes and I cringe. Like
Okay, what makes you cringe? I want to know.
ants, skinny ants, you know, skinny.
Those are out. They've been out for a while.
But he has them, and I'm like,
But
yeah, I'm like, these are skinny, and he says like, no, it has some space, and it's like, I don't know, super, you know, super tight, but it has like this gap or something, and I'm like, these are skinny, and he's like, no, it's not. They're fine. They're, and I was like, yeah,
burn.
burn it up.
Burn it.
But he's gonna buy new ones.
Hey, they still make skinny jeans?
What did you?
I'm so check.
I think they're coming back actually. Yeah, I think they're coming back. So yeah, we have a lot of differences between our generations. You know, millennial, zillennial, or something, Gen Z, whatever. We have those differences, but that actually makes our relationship interesting. You know, he has different opinions about things. I have different opinions, but we have this common ground. We have this common understanding. So I guess you could say like the communication, the respect for each other.
Mutual respect is definitely a great one.
Yes.
Yes, if you need respect to be able to understand each other's perspectives and not invalidate, but be like, hey, I respectfully agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You can have your point
Yeah.
of view. It might not be mine, but we're not gonna have a problem because of it.
Yes.
We can work through this. You know,
Yes.
I think that's a very mature and a very big thing that any relationship should.
But yeah, but he's more mature than I am. Like I
mean, clearly.
I am the toxic one in our relationship. I can make drama and I could like scream and I can make, you know, I'm crazy.
I don't think you should admit to that.
I think I should. I can be toxic. But like afterwards we talk about it and I can admit it. I can say that I was wrong. I'm so
That's
sorry.
right.
Yeah. So on the spot, yeah, I'm very impulsive and impatient. I have to work with myself. Also sponsored therapy. Can you sponsor therapy for me?
I think we all need therapy and we all benefit from having a therapist. So if anybody watching this is a therapist, here. I did want to ask you something. I know that you've, well, I can't say names, but I know you dated some famous figures in Latvia.
Yeah.
And obviously we can't name names, but were any of them traumatic?
All of them. Actually, all of them. Because I don't know what's wrong with famous men in Latvia, but I think they have like big, super huge egos. Super huge egos. And, you know, I'm a pretty girl. And I'm very interested, especially like at the time when I was single, I was very interested in a man that could help me with my career.
Okay.
Because at the time, it was like during COVID, and I thought that opera is not going to open, that I should do my own music and stuff. So that's when I met a lot of musicians that are popular in the popular music scene. And I was, some of them I was dating, but I think they all of them had like increased egos, and some of them had problems with drugs. And it's a huge no-no with alcohol, drugs, party. I don't judge when you go out and do your thing. It's just that at that point it was like for them it's a lifestyle and how they lived. And like especially at COVID, you know, everybody was out of job, and it seemed like no matter the day, you can just get drunk and wasted and have a party of something, especially like in somebody's apartment. So I ended up in so many of those parties. Actually, I was a party girl at the time. I wasn't doing drugs. I wasn't drinking that much, but like I was sort of this normal party girl, you know, not too much. So all of the men that I was dating at the time that were popular, semi-popular, I don't know, can you really be that famous in Latvia? I don't know. Unless you're like Roberto or I don't know.
Unless Thor is really fucking famous.
Unless you're a president, I don't think you're famous enough to have this increased ego.
Yeah, I mean, some people, they just... Okay, I'm not naming names.
But here's the thing.
They have like, I don't know, maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 followers, and maybe 2 people know them.
Yeah.
And they act like the world revolves around them.
Yeah.
And I tried my best to keep myself in check and my friends in check, because I'm like, whenever you lose sight of the bigger picture, you stop being you.
Yeah.
And some people just do not know how to act.
Yeah. Yeah.
And given that we've both been to Riga Fashion Week and we've been around a lot of people,
Riga Fashion Week, really.
we've been around people enough to know that sometimes, yeah, the ego is bigger than the person.
So, Gopal, you are from India.
Yes.
What? Yes. What are your opinions about dating in India and dating in Latvia? And also, dating an Indian man in Latvia? Have you dated any Indian men in Latvia?
No.
No. Have you dated somebody from, you know,
Not
outside?
really. Well, non-Latvians?
No Latvians, yeah. In Latvia.
I wouldn't say dated, no. Because it's just been Latvians.
Okay.
And like, for example, if we're talking about cultural differences,
Yeah.
especially if we're taking the queer community, like in India, it just got decriminalized in 2018. So until 2018, if you identified as gay, you'd be put in prison.
I didn't know this.
Yes, and adultery was also decriminalized in 2018. So, which means that if you were to have sex with somebody who's not your husband, you would go to prison.
But that's for women
Yeah,
only.
no, men as well.
Men as well.
Yeah, if you sleep with somebody you're not married to, you go to prison. And the same thing with being gay as well. And it was decriminalized in 2018. I think in that sense, India is making a lot of strides in that direction, but it's still not very common to see like same-sex couples on the street. Like even from where I come from, maybe I've seen one couple or two couples once.
But also, I don't think that it's a normal thing in Latvia as well. I don't think there is many same-sex couples that
But I
go on
don't
the
think
street.
PDA, like public display of affection, it's not part of the Indian culture or the Latvian culture.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
you don't show it in person. So for all you know, they might actually be a couple that is not holding hands or making out on the street.
True. No, I'm holding hands with my boyfriend.
Yes, if you're straight, you do that.
Why would you say that?
Because I feel like straight people get judged very less for doing things like that. Like you can actually, I've seen teenagers make out like obscenely at the bus stop, and I'm like, first of all, it doesn't matter who you love, like whatever, but maybe not like that on the street, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's also like very disgusting when you see people like getting in each other's mouths like publicly. That's disgusting.
I mean, a kiss here or there, or a little bit of a kissing, like that's a lot.
It's like
That's fine.
holding hands.
That's fine. I actually got told by a friend that he was holding hands with his boyfriend, and they actually got like, called a bunch of slurs, and this was in the Vida city center. So that's the reason why people don't do public displays of affection.
You know, I'm not part of the community, so I don't know actually. I don't know.
But I can definitely tell you, there are people who are not afraid to show it in public, but oftentimes you'll have to deal with slurs or ridicule or nasty looks.
Okay, so were you dating when you were in India?
No, because again, in India, dating, even straight people dating in high school, that's not a thing. Like, you're not allowed to date. Literally, teachers would take you to the principal's office if they find out you're involved with someone. Your parents would be called, both parties, and they get like told about this. It was a whole thing.
But that is because of arranged marriages.
I think it's not exactly because of arranged marriage. It's just that dating or any form of, what do you call it, intimacy in that sense is very much discouraged in schools. Arranged marriage is still a thing, but a lot of people are moving away from it in a way of like somewhere in the middle. Like, for example, you arrange a marriage between a girl and a guy based on the families and everything, and they're allowed to date for a year or two to get to know each other before they get married. So at any point in time, they're actually allowed to say, hey, no, we're not doing this. So it's like a combination of both. And that's actually what happened with my best friend. So she was technically in an arranged marriage with a guy, but they dated for a while. And they actually got along really well. So they actually ended up getting married, and they're actually having a really good life now.
Me and Gokul, we made separate Google Forms for our followers to fill in about their dating experiences. So we're gonna read it out for you guys.
We're gonna read some juicy ones for you.
Yeah, we had a lot of responses. Like, I've got 18. How much did you get?
I got 20. Okay, this is actually, I'm gonna start tape, okay? So this is one of the things that I was told. Right after breaking up, he gifted me a wooden spoon while I was crying. I hate that spoon and the man for the hate of the way he was acting so much, but it's the perfect size for making matcha.
Like, the spoon?
Yes, not the man.
It was like perfect size.
So she really loves the spoon, but she hates the man.
Oh, imagine, like, you have to use the spoon, but like, every time you use it, it reminds you of this man. It is terrible. My ex-boyfriend left his table in our apartment, and it was just a basic table, but every time I had looked at it, I was like, oh my god, it's him. But I remember, like, my ex-boyfriend, he was like, I had very traumatic experiences with him. He had like mommy issues, and he was doing drugs. He was drinking a lot. He was going to a gym a lot. He was obsessed with his physique. He was like training for whatever. Every time I saw the table, I was like, he was like, smoking pot and then playing video games and talking with his dumb friends on this table. So my best friend, Arthur, he actually was like, I need a table, I can take it. So he took it and it's still in his apartment.
Do you go to his apartment and get trauma flashbacks when you see tables?
Not now. No,
Okay.
anymore. Maybe I moved on. So I had a lot of responses from people that were saying that when they went on a date, they discovered that the other person had partner. So this one is about that. I'm a lesbian and I went on a date with this girl that had a full-on relationship with another girl and was on Tinder whilst being in a relationship, and I had no idea. We met for drinks, and then a week later, she took me to her town and drove me to the beach. And then after texting one night, I got a message from her girlfriend asking who I am and if I plan to be her girlfriend. I ignored it, and I just let it off. They're still together. Hope she finds out who her girlfriend really is, though. Nasty. So nasty. Like, if you want to have an open relationship, then have it.
Be open about it.
I would be so scared to date somebody else if I was in a relationship. Then break up. What's the problem?
Here's the thing though, I am all for open relationships and non-monogamy, like ethical non-monogamy.
Yeah.
As long as you're open about it, because I feel like there are people who are in open relationships and when they go on a date, even before they go on the first date, they're open about the fact that they have a partner and they're in an open relationship and everything is cool. But if you're hiding it, then there's already a problem.
No, but I like this other story from our friend actually in saying this story once in Dubai. So she says, I met a guy in the elevator of the building where my bestie was living in Dubai. I stayed overnight at her place and in the morning I had to go to work. The guy was good looking, staring at me. We went down to my girlfriend's getaway. I was waiting for my Uber to come and I was a little stressed to be late for work. And all of a sudden, this fancy Jaguar car stops in front of me. And the elevator guy is driving the car. And he's asking me if he could drop me off anywhere. I thought about it for a while. And I agreed, as my Uber was still very far. He was speeding for me not to be late for my work. So we were talking while riding. All was nice. I shared my WhatsApp with him and he texted me back later the same day. So he invited me to a French restaurant. I accepted his invitation and same day in the evening, I went to meet him. We ordered some food and we were drinking wine and all of a sudden a girl appears and she sat right next to me. She started to ask me, where do I know him and for how long? And she said that she's his girlfriend and it's their anniversary today. Funny thing is, he was sitting all the time like next to us without saying a word. And she kept asking me about us and what do we have, like, do we have a relationship together? And he was like silent all the time. After like 10 to 15 minutes, he stood up and just left. He literally just left and didn't say a word. And I also stood up and left. The girl was following me all the time and she kept asking. And I was telling her again and again, I just met him and I have no desire to continue talking to both of them. And after 2 days, he wrote me a message and apologized. Also, he said he broke up with the girl and he wished to get another chance with me.
Oh, no.
Obviously, I just blocked him and didn't reply.
First of all, why would you invite somebody out on your anniversary dinner?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, okay, I get it that you wanna, I don't know, go out with somebody else. First of all, there are ways to do it. But
Yeah.
even then, if you're being sneaky, why the hell would you invite her out to the anniversary dinner with your girlfriend?
no idea. This is ridiculous.
That's oh my god. No.
But these men, the audacity,
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption.
like on the anniversary date.
Okay, so the next story is my friend is currently dating and has been talking to a new girl in this area. He found out she's actually a friend of another girl he had slept with. So he didn't want the new girl to know. They go on a date. They sleep together. It turns out the first girl had rave reviews about him in bed, which made the new girl reach out to him.
Wait, what? Like,
The first girl he went out with gave her best friend good reviews about the guy.
that's why she
So she went out with him and slept with him.
I respect that, actually. I respect that. Because not a lot of men are actually good in bed. By the way, most of the experiences.
Comment section is gonna be flooded.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Most of the men, they have no idea what they're doing. They've seen porn and that's all they know. I'm sorry, corn? Should I say corn?
Yeah. They've seen corn.
Yeah, a lot of men see corn and that's what they think that sex is like, and that the women are also like very enthusiastic all the time, you know, even though they're not enjoying what is happening. And I've had most of the sexual experiences I've had in my life were actually, you know, damn, this is dark. Went on a first date with this guy to a cafe. He was straight up telling me how good he is at manipulating with people and always getting what he wants. Looking back on it, I guess he really was good because we ended up having more dates. Of course, it did not work out at the end, but it must hand it to him. He was indeed very good at manipulating.
Okay,
Funny.
I have to admit, he is probably very good at it because if he said he's good at manipulating people on the first date and still got more dates, he is really good.
Oh, this is also very, very dark. So, matched with a girl on Tinder, had a nice chat, and also a video call. We were supposed to meet for a coffee, and she came with a plastic bag filled with empty beer cans, and surely was high on something. During the first 10 minutes of our date, she told me how she was spending time in a mental institution for drug abuse. I realized that was it, went to the restroom and asked my friend to call me and tell me that something bad happened. Yes, like in Sex and the City.
That's such a classic.
It's a classic, actually. So my friend called me and asked me to sit with kids. I excused myself, but the girl asked maybe she could come with me and sit with my friend's kids too. It was pretty hard to get out of this date for sure.
Cheater, yeah.
Do you have like some stories about like when you were trying to
Get out of it.
escape the date, or
Not real. It is so hard to end a bad date though.
yeah,
Like if you're not having a good time, how do you get out of it?
you just straight up say I'm not having a good time.
But that's rude.
That is rude, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just say, hey, I'm not vibing, sorry, bye.
But I think it's honest. I understand that people are sensitive and stuff, but like it's more honest, and I actually respect that when somebody would say that to me. Like I had a bad experience when somebody told me, you know what, I don't like this date, and I said like, me too.
Okay, so here's one for the Friends with Benefits Hall of Shame. We'd hooked up a couple of times, casual, chill, nothing serious. One day, he decides to switch things up and books this fancy hotel room. I'm thinking, oh, alright, Mr. Hotshot is trying to impress. He grabs food, alcohol, the whole setup. So far, a 10 on 10. For effort, we start drinking, vibes are great, until he drinks like he's got something to forget. A man downs enough to tranquilize his penis. Fast forward, he passes out. I'm just sitting there in my cute lingerie, like, hello. Few hours later, this man wakes up, fully convinced we had sex, and goes, that was good. Let's order food and take a shower. I'm like, sir, you literally snored through my sexual peak, which was me eating chips alone at 10 p.m. and watching How I Met Your Mother. But here's the best part. We get in the shower. I'm thinking, okay, now we get a little spicy. No. He proceeds to lather me like a loofah, like head to toe, exfoliate, rinse, repeat.
The dude was wearing his seatbelt.
Okay,
I respect that. I wish somebody would scrub me.
you have a daytime.
I have a boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah. Then get this. He kicks me out of the shower so he can take a long ass one. Food arrives, I cover for him, eat in silence, and then I left. After the minute I got home, I ended it faster than he finished inside me, which was in his dreams.
Oh my god, this is a bad one.
This is a really bad one.
Actually a bad one. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for sharing your trauma with us. This has been as entertaining as it was informative.
It was, yeah, a bit shocking, you know. I still have to process the last one.
That was actually quick.
Because it reminded me of something that I've also experienced, but not quite, you know. But like a lot of people have experiences that are like similar.
Yes.
You know. So now I think I got like traumatized even more. And now I'm thinking about like my traumas and my bad dates and everything. So I could yap for another hour if we had time, but we unfortunately don't have that much time left. So I think we're gonna leave it that.
I think that was a very good story to end on.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot to think about, to reflect on, and if you have stories that are kind of similar to this, or if you relate to any of this, definitely let us know in the comment section below.
Okay, guys. Until next time. Ciao.